1 a.m., eyes closed, I'm slowly falling to the music and the atmosphere. Now and then, I feel lights fading softly all over me, and I remember last year when I was alone in my bed with all these thoughts in my head and living silently inside. It's so late in the night, my mind is drifting away. Then I dream about times I wished for a new, happier day. If a hand could reach out right now and save my life somehow, I'll face the sun again as soon as this dreary night ends.
Cause I can't do shit right, I can't learn my lesson. I can't do shit right, take antidepressants. Illness and welfare on my adolescence. My friends probably hate me, can't answer a message. Filled with anxiety, always behind me. Feeling inadequate, always prescribing me. Not a role model, that's not what I strive to be. Can't go outside, I'm afraid they'd be flying at me. Paranoid about my privacy, yeah. And they always asking questions about my face, can't relate. Fucking caught my own reflection, broke a minute the other day. Paranoid about my privacy, yeah. And they always asking questions about my face, can't relate. Fucking caught my own reflection, broke a minute the other day. So I grab the red wine on rainy days and then I blow it. Cause I'll age another fucking dozen days before I know it. Yeah, I spend them all inside, waste my time while I'm scrolling. But I love when it rains, cause I'm agoraphobic.
Hello chat. So, sorry for the late intro. Honestly, I'm just like, I don't know if this is healthy for my channel. I don't know. I just want to put on my support on both Minmax, Crispy, as well as one shot questers. Three of like my one of my one is my most recently watched like YouTubers, which is Crispy, and two of my basically childhood heroes. I've been watching them since I was like forever, and honestly, like I want to have an open discussion, and no one from the viewer is not gonna watch me whatsoever. I don't think anyone's gonna watch a drama video in Twitch, nor in YouTube, or in TikTok even. And I feel like I just wanted to come down here and just discuss about this, and put my 2 cents in it because I feel like it's been toxic. It's been everyone is not in the wrong. I know everyone is technically in the right, in my opinion. Fence sitter stuff, shit like that, I guess. And there could have been like a lot of goods, right things to do, and there's a lot of wrong things to do. And honestly, it's brave for Duke, if I'm allowed to call him by that. I feel like I feel dirty saying that because I'm not friends with him. I feel like someone like One Shot Quester is like brave to basically come out and speak about this stuff. However, Crispy saying that like he's a white knight, etc., or like gatekeeping, not white knight, sorry. Gatekeeping is it's in a way like it's both true and false at the same time, and I feel like it's really harsh to call him gatekeeping because the way the video presented itself felt gatekeeping, but he was more concerned of a lot more stuff going on in the background. And honestly, Minmax is wonderful. I fucking love Minmax. I feel like they didn't cheat it on any of the supporters' money. I'm not a supporter myself, so I shouldn't say much about that. And I feel like I just want to watch this video with like it being streamed and recorded, and just like listen to like the stuff going on.
If you clicked on this video, that means you understand the backstory of what is currently happening.
Yes, I understand the backstory of what is currently happening. I watch all three of your videos. Your first video, I watched the min max explanation video. I didn't watch the budgeting video because in full faith I thought that you would like basically put it in, but I think I should do that later on. And I watched the crispy video. I watch all three of your videos before watching this video.
I understand that this is my final chance to express my concerns, and I ask that you thoroughly listen to what is about to be presented. And don't worry, I won't be as aggressive as I was in my initial video. I spent more time doing research and gathering my information so I could make a proper response this time. If you're still here, thank you so much for choosing to hear me out. Before we begin, I do have a few housekeeping notes. Whatever opinion viewers may come away with, I ask that people remain civil toward all parties involved, as situations like this can have serious effects on a person's mental health and well-being. This is a response to Crispy's Tavern video titled One Shot Questers, the Unwanted Gatekeeper of D&D. This video is intended to present additional research and information regarding claims made by Crispy, along with the handling of donations and the level of respect shown by the producers of MinMax, while they were not serving as on-screen talent for the MinMax D&D live play series. The research presented in this video is not intended to cancel or stop the production of MinMax. This video is not a critique of the entertainment itself or the talent performing on screen when it comes to the MinMax D&D live play games. Comments and engagement will be turned off to help prevent misinformation from spreading in the comments and to allow viewers to form their own opinions on the matter. This video
So the thing that I thought like was like a little bit weird was like when I first like saw this video was when engagement is turned off. So yes, people may, have discussions off of this video, but like in groups or like in places where like discussion is put in, like Reddit. If I just go to Reddit right now, I think like Reddit one shot poster. See? Like a lot of people criticize like will criticize him regardless of anything and any of that such. Duke, my dude, I love your videos, but you gotta call it quits in the drama. It's really not good look on your. You're responding to creepy. You're not even responding directly to min-max. You're continuing to call them out, but now it's not even involved to address them directly. You turn off the comments on the videos because you know the video is not going to get received well, and hiding behind allowing people to come to their own conclusion as a reason. That is SDE. I don't know what SDE means. What you're really saying is that not like Almighty Duke, there's not allowed to have been exactly. So that's the thing with like that decision. I feel like it's true that people can make their own opinions with stuff like that, but I feel like it will be received negatively anyways. So yeah, I feel like it's true that like misinformation will be spread around eventually when stuff like this is comes on. And I feel like there's a lot of things that like would be really dangerous threading in here. However, I am not saying that like Duke is doing the wrong thing, in my opinion. I'm not a glazer of his. I wish I was. I haven't watched his videos in so long, and it's really weird in my opinion that like people are went from like like this is just like my opinion from all of this, which is like I remember when OSQ, I think One Shot Questers, OSQ, when OSQ was rebranding, there was a YouTuber, I'm not gonna name them, and the YouTuber was like complimenting him and just like, yeah, thank you for like speaking for us, like people who can't speak out like this, and I feel like it's brave for you to say this. And now like people are saying like he should shut up, he should like just stop with this drama. And I feel like what choice does he have really, like there's no other choice that he can actually choose from. There's just like you can choose to stop your drama then and there, but I feel like it's not really digging a hole because like he needs to respond. Because the thing is, if he doesn't respond, he will be heavily criticized. If he does respond, he will be heavily criticized. So like it doesn't matter. It's a lose-lose situation like for these people. I don't understand like this mentality of like, oh, like if he responds he's a fucking like sellout, or like if he doesn't respond then he's a fucking like quitter or like a loser basically. It's absolutely like terrifying that like people are doing this like sort of like mentality in a way that like makes people just like scared of like speaking up for themselves. And I don't understand why people always do this. And I feel like it's like really in bad faith, just like saying that in bad faith saying that like, oh, he could have just like stopped the drama. But that's not a choice. That's not like a choice that you can take. That's not how drama works. It lurks within the shadows. It will keep lingering until like someone else closes it. And that's the problem with that mentality. It's just like there's no winning or there's no losing. There's nothing. There's just nothing. And like it's almost like baffling that like people are telling him to stop because like he already dug, like as people say, like keep digging that whole grave in grave is 6 feet. Like people say like keep digging. I mean like yeah, he kind of has to. Like there's no other choice. Okay, what is this? I should watch the other things after this. All right.
Video is a response to Crispy, since most of the attacks I've been receiving as of late have come from their video. and multiple family members and friends have reached out referencing Crispy and making sure that I was doing okay. For context, I made an aggressive call-out video about MinMax, a $100,000 crowdfunded D&D live play project, for mishandling the donations they received. Going forward, I would like to change my phrasing to instead be showing a lack of respect to the donations received and to the supporters of MinMax. MinMax made a response video providing additional information, and Crispy's Tavern made a video that covered the situation. I believe one reason Crispy made their video about this situation was because of the conversation we had on Discord the day after I posted my initial video, which I will now show and read. Crispy
I feel like this is like a thing where like the viewers can watch themselves. I feel like I already watched this part. I feel like with the conversation itself, everyone should have the chance to watch it. But my opinions behind it is that Crispy is, I wouldn't say manipulative because that's too strong of a word. I feel like Crispy feels a little bit front and forward, and there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. I feel like a lot of people can have front and forwardness, and honestly, Crispy is like a wonderful journalist in my opinion. Like I love her. I think it's they work with like a lot of stuff like their work with like stuff in like the community, etc. And I felt like is it like is it like mean spirited? No, because I feel like it's only fair to just say that, because like, you know, you feel free to like criticize someone the way you want to, but also like if anyone wants to like defend Crispy, it is like in their rights. And also, but like, and it in my opinion, this response in screen right now, I'm sorry you feel that way, this is like you know, I always have a saying with my friends, etc., which is like, I'm sorry you feel that way, which is like, I'm sorry that I'm sorry, and I think I said like, I'm sorry you feel that way means that I'm sorry that I never learned. Like that's basically how I thought about it. But then like when I saw this, I was like, oh wait, no, actually like there's like corners to this shit. Like there's like more stuff to this shit. There's like a lot more to dig in instead of just like putting it all in there. I feel like what he's trying to say is like, I'm sorry I made you feel that way, would be, I think, not better, but just like more clarity. And I feel like having that like having that like having the I'm sorry you feel that way is a bit nasty, a little bit. So I hope like yeah, I hope our boy Duke is doing well.
and everything. A day later, on March 4th, MinMax posted their response video to me, and Crispy then posted their video covering the situation on March 6th. Just for clarification, Sellsword Arts is the one producing MinMax, and starting right now, I will be addressing them as the producers moving forward. So with that being said, I'm going to follow along with Crispy's video and presents research that I found and only cover the topics I feel like are necessary in regards to MinMax in this video. And if you are interested, I will provide additional information about points Crispy made that I didn't cover at the end of this video. So the first thing we will be discussing is when Crispy brings up the tech. I'm glad Crispy brought up the tech portion because there were some interesting things that I found when it came to the tech that was bought to produce MinMax. And I'm glad Crispy did his due diligence with doing his research on the audio, but surprised they said nothing about the lighting, and I'll address that a little later. First off, let's talk about the tablets.
This one is about the tech. Duke is really upset they spent so much money on tech to record this show that needs tech to function. Again, doesn't really make much sense that he wants the show to be higher quality, but also cheaper, especially in this field. Duke also goes on a long rant about the tablets.
In this video of the breakdown, they said they were going to be able to look at the us as viewers, we were going to be able to see the tablets in real time. We were going to be able to see the players work with these tablets in real time. You didn't see any of that.
Duke, the tablet view that you're saying doesn't exist, the tablet view that wasn't implemented. Can we rewind back to when Duke was complaining about the camera zoom? Yeah, you see that giant screen right there? That's the tablet view. You idiot.
My issue with the tablet.
So I feel like that's the thing that I did want to mention as well, like in this stream, is that like again, like it feels high school to say this, but like name calling is not. It's for comedy purposes, I assume, coming from Crispy. But I feel like um like having like to call him an idiot is a bit like, in journalism at least, a bit like mean spirited. I feel like that's fair to criticize. Uh, a lot of people seem to just not know that like when to essentially like keep their bad mouth. I guess like I wouldn't say it's bad mouthing because I don't think Crispy is bad mouthing OSQ in this regard. But I mean like I feel like a lot of things would have been dodged away if like one if OSQ just like you know got into like just like made like a response that is just level headed to begin with. And I feel like it's fair to essentially like not name call someone for the time being until you fully know well what their arguments are, if that makes sense.
Was something that MinMax actually addressed in their response video.
One of the issues we had is we wanted to be able to do a live feed of the character sheet to the project, but that didn't work out. But that doesn't mean it's not something we can do in post. Again, I'm learning as I go, and that's something that I'm hoping to put in the new episode.
So the part that Crispy says that this is them showing off the tablets is false, because that's not what I or MinMax was saying. That's what the tablets are going to be used for. And I'm thankful for MinMax for addressing that. Next, Crispy.
Exactly. So the tablet view is, according to MinMax, is supposed to be the character sheets overview, basically. And a lot of people don't do that in like even like in D&D lives. I feel like the only thing that people do usually is like the only thing that people do usually is, how do I say this? Like they usually just like put out like stuff normally so that like people can just like have, hey, here's like a piece of our information, our strength, our constitution, our dexterity, etc. Maybe some skills, etc. And it doesn't work in their layout because they have two players in one image. So like, where do you put the character sheet essentially? However, just because it's impossible to do does not mean it's, sorry, just because it's hard to do or like almost impossible to do doesn't mean it's not achievable. And I feel like it's really depressing just like listening to this whole thing, and I was just like a little bit bummed out that like uh the due diligence is a little bit out there. Like I feel like people are just like throwing the word due diligence like shamelessly or shamefully, like just like out of nowhere. And I feel like they almost like not do the same amount of like reciprocation with like what they're saying. And I feel like I that criticism also comes to with like everyone in the content creation sphere. I feel like a lot of people just like not able to basically do a lot of things out of pocket and just like do a bunch of like stuff by giving out to people who want to showcase like these things. And I feel like that's whatever. I feel like it's okay-ish. it's fine in a way, but still it's a bit like sad to watch basically.
talks about the cameras.
They could have saved hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by cutting corners and getting worse gear, which again, very contradictory. You want the show to be better, but you also want it to be cheaper. It doesn't make any sense, especially in this particular section. But going through the individual points that Duke makes about the tech, you really expose how little he understands about anything. For starters, the cameras. Duke says they should replace their cameras with Logitech C920s. Duke, you mean this Logitech C920? This, like, Zoom meeting during the pandemic Logitech C920? Like, no hate against this camera. It's a great budget camera, but that's what it's for. It's for, like, people who want to have board meetings in their house. This is not professional grade film equipment. What the hell are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is a
Honestly, I agree with Crispy. I feel like webcams do not like do not even I don't think it's like even like anywhere compared to either like DSLR camera. I think that's what they use. I don't remember what it was. Or
section in your video where you show the producers talk about the cameras and listen to how they describe the cameras in the budget video and then how they describe the cameras in their response video.
We didn't want to go with big DSLRs because that would have blown the budget just on 2 cameras. So I went with smaller action cams, and we've got them
so this is like the thing that like
according to a like big crazy NAS setup. Now the NAS, what we bought was some DJI Action Cam 6s.
My main problem I have in regards to how the producers are handling the budget is that they keep saying,
we're gonna have a full, transparent public accounting of how we're using that money.
Because we promised you a total transparent budgeting of min-max. He did a budgeting video that was very transparent. In fact, most of the information that he gets comes from our budgeting video because we're trying to be transparent about where we're putting the money.
but yet there's barely information provided and no proof being shown about how the funds were actually spent. The only thing that we were told about the cameras they bought in their fully transparent budget video was that they were action cams and nothing else. It was only when the response video came out that we finally got the information that they were Osmo Action Cam 6s, which made me ask why that wasn't expressed in the budget video. The Action Cam 6 is the newest model releasing on November 18th, 2025. And if the cameras were just going to be mounted on a tripod pointing at a subject in their set, then the difference between the Action Cam 3, 4, 5, and 6 is very minor when it comes to video.
I feel like that is true. However, I think the thing that like OSQ forgot is that like the fact that like they're going to need the action cams for action scenes in the future of the show basically, if I'm not mistaken at least. So in season 2 there's going to be more action based stuff rather than the first season, and they already I think done finishing off season 1. But if I'm not mistaken, is that they want to do action cams at season 1, but they can't because of like constraints, etc. They were stuck in the snow, etc. Stuff like that. And the second one is that they want to do the action cam for really high quality like choreography, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess according to Duke, if you're just going to do the live play only, then it makes sense. It would make sense if it's just the live play only. However, it's not the case, and I think that's what Duke forgot to mention. I think like, or just see at that time. And OSQ basically mentioned that like it was like really hard for him to basically like notice how bad it was until he realizes that like they're using it for a different purpose. And yeah, it's decent, like the webcam, but it doesn't make sense if they use season 1's budget and then reuse season 2's budget for more cameras. I feel like they should have used season 1 and 2 with the same camera. That's probably why they're using the fucking action cam. I think that it just makes sense in my head like that. So like that's up to like interpretation.
quality. Looking on Amazon, it seems like they bought two DJI Osmo Action Cam 6 enhanced combos, which comes to $950 after tax, and is closer to the price they provided rather than if the cameras were bought as standalones. Comparing prices between the different Action Cam models, they could have bought the Osmo Action 4 Essential Combo, which could have been either $200 or $282 per unit based off of the time of purchase, which could have cost at most $580 after tax, meaning they could have saved at minimum $345 on camera equipment. And Crispy, I am so sorry that I'm upsetting you once again by providing ways to keep production costs low. I only bring it up because the producers apparently also want to keep production costs low.
We try to keep expenses on the min-max channel as low as possible, but still producing a good season. And by keeping the costs low, by editing it in-house, by not having a bunch of middlemen and producers, we also get to spend your money even more wisely. We are being the best stewards of your money that we can.
So Crispy, to answer your question, yes, you can spend less on equipment and still receive similar quality. Now, it is important to note that the producers did state that they returned the cameras.
In fact, min-max didn't spend any money on camera equipment, and we were able to return the stuff that we had bought.
But with no proof of return, we don't know if it actually happened. Again, the only thing that
I feel like this is the thing OSQ does a lot in this video, which is like saying that like there's no like receipts to that in their like response or their budgeting video, like maybe showing actual receipts, screenshots, etc. But if I'm not mistaken, at least like the behind the scenes has shown a lot of like the stuff there, and I think he mentions it in this video. I don't know, but I feel like honestly like just like it's something. It's something for sure.
audience is relying on is the producer's own word, and that doesn't cut it if they state they're trying to be fully transparent. So it is an important question to ask on why the most
They said transparent. They didn't say fully transparent, I think. I think it's gonna show.
recent and most expensive Osmo Action Cam was bought for the production rather than a model that can produce similar quality and is $200 cheaper per unit. Next is the audio equipment.
Finally, the audio. Duke says that they should only spend $900 on audio. To mic up 7 people? Wow, that's ambitious. But the specific mic
Invested in 7 pod mics, which cost around $80, $90 each. You get 7 XLR cables.
Pod mics are podcast mics, by the way, chat. Like, if you don't know what pod mics are, podcast mics or Rode podcast mics, if I'm not mistaken.
And a decent 8-channel audio interface, all bought on Amazon. It would have delivered better audio quality and would have cost them $500 less.
which is a great budget microphone. I love that thing. But it also costs almost $100 each, and Duke wants to buy 7 of them. Duke, your $900 budget for audio is already almost completely blown out by just the microphones. Then he wants 7 XLR cables. Sounds like a nightmare for cable management, but sure, okay, 7 of those, $70 if you want them to be long enough. Finally, he wants an 8-input audio interface. To get a decent one, you have to go to Tascam. Even used, those things cost almost $400. We're well past Duke's arbitrary $900 budget, but screw it. Let's just dig this hole deeper, because Duke also wants 7 boom arms. Okay, at their cheapest, boom arms are $20. We're already past the budget, so we might as well go all out. If you want a decent boom arm that doesn't creak and drive you insane, that's $100 each. So, yeah, Duke. Because, yeah, miking up 7 people is expensive. I'm impressed that they were able to do this at all on a budget of $1,400.
The issue that Crispy made is that they started to suggest getting $20 mic arms and instead said,
Let's just dig this hole deeper.
and suggested $100 mic arms since my budget wasn't going to surpass Min-Max's final audio cost. If the $20 mic arms are that big of a concern to you, then here are those $20 mic arms that are holding up my lights and being used filming while using a Rode Pod mic as seen here, which I've had no issues with these arms. If Crispy chose to do the $20 mic arms for his version of my budget, then the total cost would have been $1,210, which is still under the price that Min-Max spent on their audio equipment. Also, here's a picture of what my audio tech.
So, I'm not an audiophile or anything like that. I just buy like any microphone that works well with a decent price. I don't even buy like I don't even buy like what's it called? What is it called? I don't know either. I don't know my microphone. I feel like there's like a lot of things that like can be said about this like microphone, which is like it's not the best quality, yes, but also like, you know, mine hasn't creaked. Like, I've been using a $20 like mic arm for like how many years? It doesn't creak at all, and I feel like it's a bad faith argument. That's true, but also like, is it like annoying? Is it like short? Is it like, you know, like it's whatever. It's a mic arm basically. But like, I kind of agree with like OSQ, because like that's not the main focus of the show. With having like having to use boom mic. Sorry, mic arms basically, because like it's just like it's whatever, dude. Like, again, like this works, I believe, and honestly, like, it's good for like live play, but I don't know if it's like recording. It's like decent, but you know, it, I mean, like just download fucking like I don't know, like fucking download like voice meter or something like that. Like there's like a lot of things that you can like do to like actually get like a bunch of stuff going on, like with like microphone quality, etc. And I guess like I guess like it's kind of like derogatory to talk about that because I by any means am not educated in like stuff like this basically.
Tech suggestion is. And as you can see, creating a whole setup is cheaper than MinMax buying 4 microphones. Oh, sorry, Crispy, you probably didn't know that based off of how you presented your video. So if you thought buying 7 pod mics for $700 is an issue, then I should probably warn you that MinMax spent $1,438 on 4 mics. And again, it is important to know that they did end up returning those microphones.
We were able to return those microphones and reinvest that money into season 2.
Although there is no proof of it provided. But thankfully, we got to know what mics were bought thanks to a behind the scenes video that was released, and it shows us that the mics were BLX 188 CVLs. And this is the only way anyone could have known what mics were bought. And I should warn you that MinMax is also using XLR cables, so I guess by your standards, you're also calling MinMax's audio setup a nightmare. But here's the thing, Crispy, you are 100% right that I don't know what I'm talking about because what I provided was a setup that is perfect for a live stream D&D game, but not for a pre-recorded D&D game. The issue with both MinMax and I's audio mixer is that it takes everyone's audio and puts it into a single stereo output, meaning if you record from the mixer, everyone's voice is trapped into one audio file, which can be a problem for post-production if people are having mic issues. Since this was a pre-recorded live play, let me show you what the producers use for audio equipment on their own channel.
Should you do acrobatics in a sword fight?
You can see they're using DJI wireless lav microphones, which would actually be perfect for this group since it delivers good audio quality, holds to a person well if you're moving and flipping around, and is a piece of equipment that the producers are already familiar with. And the best part about this is if they went with the DJI Mic 3 and bought 7 of them, it would have been $751 after tax, making it cheaper than mine, yours, and their setup, plus the DJI Mic 3s record internally, which means everyone would get their own separate audio output. And then you take all of the separate audio files and you put them into an audio editor like Reaper, and you apply and audio. You to know the lights the producers bought didn't come close to the price they said they paid for, which was $1,376.
We bought 4 lights for the players so you can see our faces. All of the lights that you see above that are casting light into the room were provided by Celsius. We already own those. We didn't spend any money on that.
If we look at the behind the scenes video, the lights used to light the players' faces are 3 Elgato LED key lights for $180 per unit and 1 Elgato key light Neo, which is around $75 per unit. And if you would have totaled all of that up, you would have seen that the final cost only comes to $650 after tax, which doesn't make sense if the producers are saying,
we bought 4 lights for the players so you can see our faces.
This is huge, and choosing not to look into it made you miss $1,348 of donations that none of us except the producers know where it's at. And if you're confused on how I even got to that number of unknown funds, it's because the producers also say,
in fact, MinMax didn't spend any money on camera equipment, and we were able to return the stuff that we had bought.
We were able to return those microphones and reinvest that money into season 2. We returned $3,000 of what MinMax spent on equipment that didn't end up working.
The only equipment stated that was returned was the audio and the camera equipment, which only totals to $2,363. Meaning on top of the unknown $711 from the lights, there's an additional $637 of unknown funds in regards to returned equipment. They promised and stated multiple times that they were going to be fully transparent with the budget.
We're going to have a full, transparent public accounting of how we're using that money.
Promise you.
Okay, I take that back. I take that back. I feel like the next did say it's a full transparency. Never mind.
A total transparent budgeting of MinMax. He did a budgeting video that was very transparent. In fact, most of the information that he gets comes from our budgeting video because we're trying to be transparent about where we're putting the money.
And when a difference in pricing like this appears where the actual price is less than half of what they claim to have spent, it prompts questions and highlights the need for proof of what was actually spent. And by how you present yourself in your own video on how you didn't take what I said seriously on screen or not believing anything I showed on screen to be true since I presented everything on a PowerPoint.
Also, please don't miss the fact that that little clip exposes that all of the time and research Duke put into this video went into a freaking PowerPoint presentation. I mean, I prepare a whole media package filled with receipts that I gather over the course of days, weeks, sometimes even months. I have thousands of words written in a script and notes ready to go, so I'm ready to present this information in a consumable way. I could just been making a PowerPoint presentation the whole time and like winging it. I'm missing out.
Then I guess that means you don't believe what MinMax showed in their fully transparent budget videos since what they presented was also on a PowerPoint. And I understand how hard it can be.
I feel like this is like a little bit of a, I don't know what it's called, straw man argument? Because like I know that Duke is hurt from like being, criticized, but like, I don't remember. I don't think it's straw man. I'm gonna say words that I don't know actually. This is a little bit of an argument that like I feel like is not fair to say because like I think Crispy was trying to make a joke over like what you have done as an individual that uses PowerPoint, essentially. And I feel like using that as like an argument so that like you can further your point that min-max, you shouldn't believe min-max, is a little bit iffy, if that makes sense. I feel like that's not fair for anyone in the sphere, basically. So I think like that's the only one that I would say that like OSQ has done really bad in this video right now.
Be to believe me, especially if this is what people saw me say in the producer's response video about the lighting setup.
Another thing that's brought up is the lighting setup we had.
They also showed off the lighting. They said they spent $1,300 on lighting. It would have cost them $1,000. I'm upset at this compared to what my thing is.
So actually, the recommendation that he makes in the video is the one that we did. I don't really understand the discrepancy about how much money that should have been. That's the price of the equipment.
Yeah, I'll admit, if you hear what I'm saying, it sounds like I'm angry and jealous, and I'm just trying to find everything wrong with what they did at this point and just trying to prove that I could have done a better job. And I was actually shocked to hear that they did what I suggested in terms of lighting. I was shocked because I never go into full detail on how to set up the lighting. And you would have known that too, since you state in your video multiple times that you watched my video.
Well, I checked out what he said. You see, when I watch Duke's videos, if you watch Duke's original video, when he published his video, I watched it within hours.
And since you did, you would have noticed that the producers edited that clip to make me sound like I was angry at them for not doing it my way, and seen the single frames left in where the cuts happened when they were piecing and altering my words together. But I understand that you do your due diligence and proper journalism when it comes to this stuff, so I understand if you can't take my word for it and need the proper evidence. So going off of the advice you gave me in our Discord conversation, I'm going to take that advice and use it now to show you a comparison between Min-Max's video and my original video in regards to the lighting setup. They also showed off the lighting. They said they spent $1,300 on lighting. It would have cost them $1,000. I'm upset at this compared to what my thing is. They also showed off the lighting. They said they spent $1,300 on lighting. I saw the lighting and some of the lights I use in my own studio. Some of the lights that I used at live shows. And guess what? They could have used 4 LED aperture lights, and if they would have just lit them in a correct way, and maybe got 2 C-stands if they wanted to, it would have cost them $1,000. They ended up going a different route and spending an extra $376. I have made decisions like this. I have bought things being like, I think I need this, blah, blah, blah. I end up buying it, realizing that I never really needed it in the first place. And the difference between why I'm upset at this compared to what my thing is because majority of the time, all of that funds came out of my own pocket. I paid for them. They used not their own money. They used fan support for all of this. And again, that is why I'm upset. And now a question for you, Crispy, since you posted your video regarding...
Okay, I feel like that's a fair argument, which is like splicing up like words from OSQ, and I feel like there's a lot of context being like taken away from it, and that's honestly like understandable that you would be upset about that. But also, you know, Crispy's like a little bit like how do I say this? Crispy is critical and sharp. And the problem with like not knowing that is that like it's a lot more confusing and things go haywire. So yeah, that happened.
The situation, and by our conversation, it sounds like you only post these videos when you have all of the facts straight. So can you share with me on why Min-Max purposely edited out the main reason I was upset and instead made it look like I was mad at them for not doing things my way? I'm just curious. I would really like to know. Let's move on to what Crispy has to say about the producers holding back $47,000 worth of funds for future seasons.
If you need more context as to what he's talking about, Duke is upset because they raised $100 grand, but they really only needed like $20,000 in order to make the first season happen. So after paying for taxes and paying for fees, they took the rest of the money and saved it for future seasons, which I think is really smart. Duke disagrees. See, he accuses Min-Max of holding this money in suspicious manner because what if season 2 doesn't happen? Season 2 is just a what if. What if your show fails? Then what are you gonna do with the money? You gonna run away with it to Colombia or something? No, Duke. You got it completely backwards.
Number one, we didn't want to throw all of this money at season 1. We can't tell a good enough story in that amount of time.
By holding back the money that we did, we guarantee future seasons. And I know in the video he kind of claims that it's only if season 1 does well, but that's not the case. We held it back in case season 1 doesn't do well. We are guaranteed another season, and I think another season after that.
Yeah, for anyone with more than 2 brain cells bouncing around their head, that would be obvious.
As someone who is the proud owner of having 2 brain cells, I use one brain cell to understand their reasoning by saving the money for future seasons, and I use the other brain cell to ask the question on, what if season 1 doesn't do well? That question has not been addressed by the producers and is a possible outcome, because what does happen to $47,000 of donations? You even showed it in your clip when they say,
but that's not the case. We held it back in case season 1 doesn't do well. We are guaranteed another season, and I think another season after that.
There is no guarantee that future seasons will happen, and they even state it in their budget video.
And that means we're hoping that, the money we've got here will easily do 2 more seasons. For sure. Goes well. If everything goes well.
Automatically get 3 seasons.
Assuming everything goes well and things close.
Yeah.
But No, okay, fine. But maybe more.
And they even proved to their own audience that because some of their own guarantees to the audience didn't even happen. And I will get into that when Crispy brings up those topics. At this point, it seems they look at seasons being guaranteed only because they have the money rather than the fan support. To give an example on how future seasons are determined, what happens if a TV series doesn't perform well in their first season? It's usually canceled because there weren't enough people watching and supporting it. And even though the TV series might have had the funding for future seasons, it doesn't change the fact that the demand isn't there. So, like you stated in your own video,
The point is that it's so early to be making any sort of judgment calls for success or for failure.
I think it's perfectly fine at this point for donors to ask how their money will be spent for future seasons. And
Exactly. I feel like that's a fair argument. It's not a bad faith argument. It's actually a good faith argument. Like I feel like it's like a decent argument to make. Like, you know, whenever like something fails, it fails. It wouldn't bounce back just because. Not just like for money standpoint, but also as a YouTuber, I think like it's fair to say that like even though you have the money to continue another series, you wouldn't actually be motivated to do it creatively when nobody is talking about it. Because the lifeline of social media or like influencers in general is word of mouth, basically. If no one does word of mouth, that's the problem. No one would basically watch it. And that's understandable coming from OSQ, and I feel like it's really, you know, it's a cruel world out there. I feel like a lot of people seem to just like you know, it happens. It happens. It's probably like we're threading in like really cold waters right now.
what will happen to their money if season 1 doesn't do well, since these are both possible outcomes. And again, let me state that this is $47,000 of people's hard-earned money on the line here, and they kind of only know the answer to one of those questions. The next segment Crispy goes over is how the producers handled the GoFundMe when it was live. And Crispy, thank you once again for telling me that I need to take more time with my research, because what I uncovered clarifies misinformation being spread by fans, min-maxed, and yourself. So let's listen to what you have to say.
Another bit of context that they added, though they really didn't have to, considering, I mean, I was there for the GoFundMe. I saw this happen. They add the context that they turned off the donation button. Once again, they did not want $100,000, but that's what they got, so they may as well use it. Duke is really upset about this. Like, he ranted about it in comment after comment, and even pinned a comment talking about how they dared to keep the donation button open for 4 whole days. Duke, it was a holiday weekend. They were, like, spending time with their family.
I do appreciate you bringing up that the producers were with their families, but what I'm confused about is why you didn't show your audience the clip of them stating that. There's a phrase they use that makes their entire statement untrue, as well as the statements you just made. So just so your audience still receives the facts on what you state you get for them, here's what the producer said about handling the GoFundMe.
One of the things he says in the comments that we should end the GoFundMe sooner because we blew our budget out of the water. And it was live for less than a week. We ended it while we were away at Thanksgiving with our families.
We set this thing up, and we originally had a goal of 10K just to buy plane tickets, and then we modified the goal to 20 when we saw we might hit that, and then we kind of didn't look at it, and it exploded, and we actually ended it, I think, within 4 days because we didn't want a ballooning budget.
They state they kinda didn't look at it. Now, I'm gonna go off of a creator standpoint here, so bear with me. If they state that they saw they were about to raise $10,000 and then proceeded to raise the goal to $20,000 for a project that a creator would be passionate about making, it would be very weird for a creator to not monitor it, especially if comments state that $5,000 was reached in less than an hour, $20,000 in 3 hours, and $25,000 in just 4 hours. Again, as a creator, if there was money coming in that fast into a project that I was passionate about, I know I wouldn't just forget to look at it, but instead be monitoring it, which is what the producers did. And I know they did because other talent are part of MinMax and the producers themselves posting these videos.
So that's pretty crazy. Hey, you guys rock. And on this Thanksgiving Day, I just want to say how thankful I am for all of you. That is extraordinary. We are working on some stretch goals and some extra things. Stay tuned. We got a meeting coming up next week where we're going to be going over logistics, planning, and exactly what we're going to put some of that money towards.
Is wild. And I am super grateful. We've all been completely overwhelmed by how much support there's been for this game. We are putting together a meeting as soon as possible so that we can discuss what to do.
So we did a thing.
And then you guys did a lot of things.
And now we get to do a lot of cool things.
We are blown away by the support we've seen in the last few days.
We were all scattered for the holidays, and we didn't really expect to have to make a response until we got back, but the response has been so overwhelming we needed to make a video. We're gonna let the funders go to the end of the day so Ben can post his video, but we are gonna be posting it tonight at midnight. Hey guys, welcome to MinMax. Not this. This is my childhood home because I'm with my family celebrating Thanksgiving. We didn't think we were gonna have to make an announcement this quick, but you guys blew the fundraiser so far out of the water, I thought that I needed to say something, and that thing I wanted to say is thank you. And we decided to launch our Kickstarter to get it all going, and you guys absolutely blew it out of the water. It was insane. Within a day, we hit our goal, and we doubled, tripled, quadrupled that goal, and now this isn't just a tiny little D&D project anymore. This is gonna be epic.
As shown by the evidence, there was communication happening between talent as early as November 27th, 2 days after the launch of the GoFundMe. Talent stated that there were talks about planning a meeting, and I don't think a meeting can be planned without the producers a part of that conversation. And yes, they probably couldn't pause the GoFundMe because like what they and you state.
We ended it while we were away at Thanksgiving with our families.
It was a holiday weekend. They were, like, spending time with their family.
That logic is flawed, because if they didn't have the time to pause the GoFundMe because they were with their families, how did the producers find the time to make and post a short form video and an edited long form video thanking their audience at least 7 hours before the GoFundMe officially closed? And in those same videos, another claim you make is also flawed.
They add the context that they turned off the donation button. Once again, they did not want $100,000.
If the producers truly didn't want $100,000, they would have closed the GoFundMe when they posted their thank you video displaying $88,000. Instead, they left it open and ran another advertisement. To me, that doesn't sound like a creator who you claim doesn't want $100,000. The number one thing I saw written in my own comments on my initial video was that they closed the GoFundMe in 24 hours and they urged people to donate to charity instead. Since many took what other comments were saying as fact instead of doing their own research, this misinformation began to spread like wildfire, and that is the reason why I turned off comments on this video to help stop the spread of even more misinformation. And I would like to say that there was misinformation being spread about me, painting me in a better picture and supporting me in the comments, and I don't even want that misinformation going out because that's not true. So to set the facts straight about the GoFundMe was open for 4 days and there is no evidence of the producers saying to donate to charity. Although there is proof of one of the on-screen talent of MinMax who did say to stop donating to the GoFundMe and to donate to charity instead.
But in the meantime, please stop. This is more than we need. And there are so many charitable causes out there, so if you really want to donate some money, go donate to a good cause. We're good. Thank you.
So after taking your advice and doing my due diligence within my own research, Crispy, can I ask you if you still agree with your statement about how the producers handled the GoFundMe? Now, if you thought the GoFundMe was a headache, wait till we talk.
Okay, so essentially, that's a good one. That's a good research point. I feel like there's like a lot of things that like could be said and could be done. And I feel like MinMax, I wouldn't say like they're the devil or anything like that. And I'm not gonna say fucking OSQ is like the angel that we needed, like, etc. or some bullshit like that. But like again, like this is a damn if you do, damn if you don't type of situation where like if like let's say our boy OSQ doesn't like speak out about this, he would be forever come out as a loser. And if he does speak about it, then he should be like he is the devil basically. So like I you know like I'm gonna go to the Reddit after this and see like if hopefully like we can get like good information from there.
Talk about the lack of live action in the MinMax D&D live play. This is what Crispy had to say about it.
He harped on about another thing that was promised in the GoFundMe, that these martial arts creators would film live action fight scenes for the camera. Now, I bought into this. I mean, I assumed that kind of thing was going to happen because these people all do fight choreography stuff. So, it makes sense they create these moves in real life. But obviously there was a massive snowstorm, so I completely understood why those scenes weren't going to be present for season 1. However, in the MinMax response video, they explained that that's not true. They never promised live action scenes at all.
It could be disappointing.
It's important to note that that's not one of the promises that we made because we knew we couldn't deliver that in season 1.
Oh my god, I thought I was a smart guy, but yeah, no, Duke got me. You gaslighted me wholly and fully, my guy. Congratulations. Yeah, this promise was never made, though they are promising to do it for season 2, something that Duke was, once again, very, very upset about.
Okay, Crispy, I am so happy you made the same mistake that I and many others did. Because yes, they never verbally stated that there would be live action, but it does seem like there were plans to do it up to the day of filming.
And we fully intended to use the type of microphone we had because we thought we were going to be getting up more.
And then over here, we have the soundboard that connects all of their lapel microphones together to record everyone's voice at the same time, but still allow those yahoos to get up and walk around and do their acrobatics and whatnot and still be able to hear them.
So they bought these mics for a certain reason, and we already know in the response video that it wasn't for getting up and moving minis and terrain around, because that's something they state that wasn't possible for season 1.
The next issue he brings up is that we should have used minis or terrain.
And logistically, that just wasn't possible for season 1.
They bought the mics as well so the tech guy can still hear them when they do their acrobatics, but they're saying that they never promised live action because they couldn't deliver it, so why get those mics and why would the tech guy say that? I don't know. I'm confused. But Crispy, you are right that they did.
I feel like this one is a bad faith argument. I feel like maybe he'll explain after this, but I feel like again, they're not gonna buy 2 sets of microphones in season 1 and then season 2. So it's kind of understandable that they would buy it for season 1 and then just reuse it in season 2. I feel like using the money of season 1 for all of the heavy lifting so the season 2 can be more fun and choreographed would be better, in my opinion. So like what? Give me a sec. But yeah, like that's the thing.
Did promise they would do live action scenes in season 2, but I'm shocked you stopped the clip there, because if you kept going for a minute and 30 seconds longer, the producers state that they will, and then they won't. and then they won't, but still have live action scenes in season 2, just watch the clip.
It's important to note that that's not one of the promises that we made because we knew we couldn't deliver that in season 1.
But we are working on it for season 2. We've already talked about how we want to go back and do the highlights of this campaign now that we have the whole thing, and we'll have a little bit more time for production next season. Also, we're trying to incorporate more physicality into the D&D. I'm gonna stop freezing the studio. And I know that's not much compensation if you were really expecting it in this season, but we're hoping the small in-between things we've been doing will make up for that.
And even this isn't us promising we'll do more of it in future seasons. We want to try, but we don't know if it's even possible.
And even after saying all of that, if you look at their Q&A pin comment on episode 1 at the time of recording this on Monday, March 16th, 2026, it still states that there will be some live action for future seasons. This pin comment was made before the producer's response video, and it was also edited after the response video. So if they're stating they aren't promising live action, then they should have went back to change the pin comment, but they haven't yet. So that just leaves questions. Especially when the producers say this right after stating they aren't promising live action.
This campaign is evolving as it goes, and we're being careful about what we can and can't promise, but we really want you to know that we love what we're doing and we want to make it better, and we're going to do everything that we can to do that.
We honestly do not know if live action will even happen because the producers can't make up their mind. And honestly, I don't blame you for being confused about this. Now, the question to ask is what led people to assume that there was going to be live action scenes within the Min-Max D&D live play, besides all of these people being martial artists and, handling their weapons and whatnot? Well, it could be what Min-Max was posting and what the viewers saw leading up to the debut of episode 1 of Min-Maxed.
And asked. And asked.
And asked.
And asked.
Would you guys play D&D together?
And we decided that would be a great idea.
As long as I don't need to play a bard.
But we think playing normal D&D would be boring, and we know you want to see us as D&D characters.
So we're going to play ourselves.
Trying to roll for stats. Roll number 2.
Just like last time, I'm gonna stack an ice block on top of my target stand, I'm gonna set a D6 on top of that, smash the entire thing with my giant metal D20, and what it rolls is what I get. Nice! Okay. Rapier and dagger is one of those popular combos because you can defend and attack at the same time. And before you say it's not possible, I'm fighting, offense pro. Fencing, swashing my buckles, and knife. Fencing, swashing my buckles, knife.
I would want to use this sort of whip because it's small enough, short enough, that I can still use it quickly and feel like I'm not leaving myself open with big swing emotions. Dent in the bottom of the can.
It probably won't shock you to hear that I really like archery. And while I can do a fair amount in real life, or fast, agile warrior monks, launching volleys on the fly, following them up with rapid close quarters strikes, and then dodging back out of danger before making the next shot.
And after witnessing all of that, the audience is finally introduced to a 2-hour, normal, but entertaining D&D live play. Hi, Editing Duke here, man. I just gotta give credit where credit is due. I'm editing the part where they're showcasing their skills and their weapon techniques into applying how to create a D&D character. And man, all of the stuff they're doing is so cool. I hope people get to see more of that because it really is so cool. I also want to point out that we need to ask that same question in regards to the production of Min-Max, since the two biggest critiques were the lack of live action and the final product of Min-Max. So to ask the question, what led people to assume that the final product of Min-Max was going to be of a higher quality? Again, it could be what was being said about what to expect from Min-Max.
We want to do some really cool things like build a set
and have a cool video setup with cool angles and stuff.
We're so grateful for the support and trust that the community has put into us, and we are going to make something really cool.
All the money you guys donated to the project will go back into the project to make it as awesome as it can possibly be.
And now, this isn't just a tiny little D&D project anymore. This is going to be epic. But now, because of you, we're really going to be able to make this campaign come to life. We've got a team that's going to help us record, edit, and produce this at a high quality. We've got artists who are going to come and help bring this world to life. We've got set designers who are going to make it so it's immersive and fun.
We are back in the studios after the holidays, and we are hard at work to make this the most epic collaboration we've ever done.
It's going to be so cool. So we're partnering with Dark Hour, Still Be Studios, to do the set. They're building the gaming table.
Which is super cool. Luckily, we have an awesome tech person that Megan knows that's going to come in and handle the tech during the show. So we decided that we wanted to do D&D Beyond on the tablets because we'll be able to look at people's tablets in real time, and the tech guy is going to be able to do all that. It's going to be really cool.
And even after saying all of that, in the response video, the producers say this.
I want to talk a little bit about the budget and the expectations.
It seems like he was expecting a professional D&D production level quality.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to pull off the crit roll season.
There's no... What? Brethren, is there like a professional what the hell? I feel like professional and D&D is like two separate. I don't even think Critical Role is professional in their like what? mean, like, coming with like stuff like Critical Role is like I guess like it is technically professional, but like it's weird because like you don't know whether or not like you want to do something like that or you want to make it like as faithful as possible to the world, etc. But like yeah, watching the past videos did make me feel like, it was like going to be cool, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be like a lot of things. And do I do I disagree with them that like they didn't like did not temper expectations? No, they did not temper expectations. They kept on saying they're gonna do a lot of cool shit. They're gonna say like a lot of stuff that was like amazing and like going to be different, etc. But like in terms of like schmuck, I mean, yeah, no one really expects you to make a professional D&D. I don't even think I don't even think OSQ was hoping for something that is like professional made. It's just he was hoping to get something that was like half of the budget you were given, like 50K basically. And that's it, really. And I love like Cellsword Arts to all my life. But I mean like, you know, I hope like I hope that OSQ can actually like just please OSQ like don't come out of this like a drama finder or like starting a drama out of nowhere. I know he isn't, but hopefully not. But also at the same time, Minmax didn't do anything bad. Minmax didn't do anything egregious, I would say. I feel like the first episode was like genuinely like good to start with. Like for like baby's first D&D like live D&D session, it was like good. Cause I'm telling you right now, that shit is not easy. I had to like basically do a lot of stuff to make mine look really good. So yeah.
3 production level with the experience we have and the budget that we have.
And we weren't gonna try.
No, we were trying to do what we said we were gonna do, bring all of our people together and create a cool game and try and make it multiple seasons. Look, I can really understand. If somebody was expecting a crit roll level of production, if you see $100,000 and you think that can make a lot of stuff, if you have these expectations and you get something you weren't expecting, it can be a big downer. And I really feel for you if you were expecting something, you donated and you didn't get what you want. And I'm sorry that we couldn't give you that. We really, really are.
We really need to reiterate that unlike these production big D&D games, this is none of our full-time jobs.
And that brings me to my point of the producers not showing respect to the donors, their funds, or even the viewers supporting MinMaxed. Because what they said and showed to their fan base, it did mislead fans to expect one thing. And when it didn't happen, the producers backtracked and pretty much said, it's not our fault, you assumed what to expect of MinMaxed. What I am seeing is this community being more than respectful towards the producers since this is their first time putting on a production like this. But there's little to no respect being given back from the producers to the community. And since we are on the topic of producers, let's move on to the next point Crispy makes, which is about the producers themselves.
Now, last up, and this is a point that I've basically already said, but this whole show is produced and edited by 2 people on the cast, Megan and David. The content creators of the show are the producers of the show.
He talks about he has no hate to the creators and is mostly about the producers, but again, there was no producers. David and Megan did this entire thing basically on their own.
Thank you so much for pointing that out, Crispy, because why is it that these 2 are the only ones producing MinMax when this was said in their first ever video on the MinMax channel?
But now, because of you, we're really going to be able to make this campaign come to life. We've got a team that's going to help us record, edit, and produce this at a high quality. We've got artists who are going to come and help bring this world to life. We've got set designers who are going to make it so it's immersive and fun.
Fans are being told one thing.
Oh God, that's a good point.
and then being told another thing in their budget video 2 months later.
We're going to be filming in the next couple of weeks, and then it's going to take many more months of me editing. Hopefully I can get some help, because it's going to be a lot.
And another 2 months later go by where they say this.
David is the editor, and it took him quite a long time to edit episode 1.
Megan and myself are the ones who set up most of the logistics, figured out the tech. I'm doing the editing, and by keeping the cost low, by editing it in-house, by not having a bunch of middlemen and producers, we also get to spend your money even more wisely.
So Crispy, let me ask you, why didn't you bring up the question of what happened to the team that was mentioned to help edit, film, and produce MinMax at a high quality 7 hours before the GoFundMe even ended? The question to ask now is, what happened to that team, and was there even a team to begin with? And this is where I want to come back and talk about how there is no guarantees for MinMax's future at this point, since the producers gave all of these promises and all of these guarantees before episode 1 to only backtrack and say, nope, again. That's why I think it's more than appropriate at this point for the community to ask what will happen to the remaining budget if future seasons do not happen. And now let's move on to the last and probably the number one thing Crispy and others have said was the stupidest thing that I could have done, and that was my entire crash out was just so I could submit my resume to be hired by MinMaxed. Let's just take a look, shall we?
What's in this email he sent to MinMax? It's his job application. I'm putting this out there. If any of you would like to see what I'm offering for helping to produce MinMax, here is a link detailing my ideas. Link below is yet another PowerPoint presentation. This guy's got one move and he's gonna use it. But yeah, this PowerPoint presentation has Duke's ideas for improving MinMax. They are all the most just generalist, Gary V, useless advice for making the show better. Like, base it off Viva La Dirt, base it off Dimension 20. He volunteers some ridiculous things in the slideshow, though. Like, he volunteers that they should use his studio instead of the studio that, you know, they specially built for the show. Dude, they don't want to use your studio. They want to use their own. It looks better, to say the least. But even more crazy than that, he says there's 2 bedrooms in his house that the MinMax crew can sleep in. Bro, you want them to sleep in your place after you borderline slandered them? Interesting move, bro. Let's see how it goes. Next up, he talks about the shooting schedule for MinMax. He wants to shoot the entire show, the entire D&D campaign. He wants to block shoot it all in one day, a 12 to 14-hour filming session. Bro, I want to die after 3-hour filming sessions. 12 to 14 sounds exhausting, but worse than that, all the martial arts choreography stuff, he also wants to do all the choreography in one day, and then all the shooting directly the next day. Again, sounds like an absolute nightmare. Blocking it all out and doing all the shooting for 3 continuous, non-stop days of filming? Ugh, especially since martial arts are athletically draining. This is just a presentation that shows, once again, that Duke doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's driving me nuts.
In order of how things played out, with me posting an aggressive call-out video to MinMax, to them responding, and then myself posting my resume in the comments of the response video, yeah, it was dumb. Would it have been a smart move to not submit it and not just, dig myself a bigger hole? Yes, it would have. But did it show that I was being serious, that I wanted to see MinMax succeed, considering I took the time to write everything out and post that information to the public? Yes. If I didn't want to see MinMax succeed, I wouldn't have put any effort into making that resume or offering my services and resources for free, which would help their case if they actually mean it at this point, that they want to keep costs low.
We try to keep expenses on the MinMax channel as low as possible, and by keeping the costs low, we also get to spend your money even more wisely. We are being the best stewards of your money that we can.
I understand the mess that I created. And honestly, it would have been even more unfair to the producers if I held back information that could help MinMax improve. And yes, Crispy, yes, I will agree with you on what you say about my resume here.
They are all the most just generalist, Gary V, useless advice for making the show better.
What I presented as my final version for the product is boring and unoriginal, and I will acknowledge that. So, if you would allow me to present a new version of how MinMax could be produced that is more unique, then here it is. And I am saying this on record, that no one needs to credit me or even ask me to be a part of this. These ideas and or concepts are free for anyone to use. To MinMax and to any of the other talent that happens to be watching this video, my new suggestion for you to make this even cooler and epic than it already is answered in your promo video.
But we think playing normal D&D would be boring, and we know you want to see us as D&D characters.
Don't just play D&D. Become D&D. You guys have an entire warehouse in the palm of your hands that you showed that you're able to go around and explore and even do live action scenes within it. Have the DM go through and create a one-shot that takes you through the entire warehouse where you guys, the talent, are making real-life skill checks. You're having to actually search for things. And when the skill checks happen, you guys could show how really cool it might be or really comedic depending on what you roll. You guys could just do so much more than sit in a setup just playing D&D. Be those D&D characters, become those D&D characters, because what would be really freaking cool as well is not only could people donate to make this happen, but you could also bring those people to be a part of the creation of this. Your final thing, the final thing of this episode, or this entire campaign or season, whatever you guys want to call it, the ending, after you guys go through the entire warehouse and you explore and you have a good time, you go outside or within the warehouse, I don't know how big it is, and you have a setup where fans and audiences can come and watch you guys have an actual combat session against potentially local LARPers. How cool would it be for each one of your guys' names to be
I feel like this is a good, a good idea, but I feel like, it will blow up the budget almost immediately. Like, I mean, like, flying someone there, like, is a lot. Not, let alone housing them, basically. So, Fuck. Yeah, no, that sounds creative, but it's really like high octane. Like it's too, how do I say this? It's too like high hopes for the stuff going on.
Called out, and you guys just hear a roar from your fans cheering you on. And then for combat, you still play it like actual D&D. You roll the D20, and depending on what you get, you're hearing the reaction from the audience. And at the same time, you guys are showcasing how certain attacks could hit or miss. All of you are so talented. So why are you sitting down and playing D&D? Become D&D. That would be so cool. That would be epic. And again, I can't tell you guys what to do. I can't tell you that this is the right way to go. But like, that would be something your audience would just die to see, and I know it. I'm getting to the point of my YouTube career where I would just rather produce stuff and help produce stuff rather than being, you know, the front end talent and also the writer and the editor. It's all exhausting, man. I would just rather be able to put all of my energy and time into the producing of something rather than having to split all my time. And this isn't me saying that MinMax should hire me for this production if this is the direction they want to go. I'm going to be straight up honest. I burned that bridge. I burned that bridge with MinMax and the creators there, and I burned that bridge with the community. And I honestly feel like if they did bring me on, if we happen to make amends, I do personally feel like if they did bring me on to MinMax, that it would not help MinMax in any way, and it would actually hurt it more. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the idea, and I am saying that I totally understand what I did, and that I'm not looking for you guys to bring me on in any way. That is all I have to say. And that is all the information that I have regarding these issues. I hope what I provided helps clear up any confusion and misinformation being spread around regarding the situation. And if any of you would like any additional information, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to provide what I can. If you would like to see my research on points that I didn't cover in this video in regards to Crispy's video, there will be a Google Docs link found in the description that I wrote and provide the research myself. And to all of you who stayed to the very end, I just want to say thank you for hearing me out, even if you agree or disagree with me at this point.
Yeah. I love you, Oscar. Hopefully things are going well for him. Okay, let's see this.
That would be obvious.
As someone who is the proud owner of having 2 brain cells, I used one brain cell to understand their reasoning by saving them money for future seasons, and I used the other brain cell to ask the question on, what if season 1 doesn't do well? That question has not been addressed by the producers and is a possible outcome, because what does happen to $47,000 of donations? You even showed it in your clip when they say,
but that's not the case. We held it back in case season 1 doesn't do well. We are guaranteed another season, and I think another season after that.
There is no guarantee that future seasons will happen.
That is a contradiction, yeah. They did say that, like, there was, if season 1 didn't do well, season 2 is going to keep going, essentially. This is a contradiction. All right. I guess that's it. Really, chat. Goodbye, chat. Goodbye, chat. That's my first and last drama video, honestly. Jesus Christ, that was exhausting to watch. All right, bye bye, chat. Bye bye, chat.